Well, and solutions, workplace solutions, tend to focus on the organization and not the individual, right? What is it from a broad strokes? What is one thing that we can do that will affect everybody? It may not affect everybody equally, but it's kind of the idea of the greatest amount of good for the least amount of effort,
Yeah.
right? That's how a lot of our workplace solutions, well, not our workplace solutions, but little plug there for Roman 3 solutions. Um, but that's often how we collectively think about making changes to the workplace is what is one thing that I can do that will impact as many people as possible. But belonging doesn't happen with mass approaches. It happens, like you said, at the individual level. And it takes effort,
Yeah.
but it's not that one person in the organization is responsible for creating the perfect solution because there is no one perfect solution. It's about everybody in the organization understanding that all of us have quirks. All of us come from different experiences, different backgrounds, different race, religion, creed. It doesn't matter. We are all bring ourselves. We need to bring our true selves to work, and that we talked a little bit about diversity. I also want to kind of mention, like, without belonging, you can't get diversity of perspective. If people feel like they have to conform or hide who they are to meet a superficial standard that the organization sets, then you're only going to get perspectives and opinions that already align with your preconceived ideas, or with this um, avatar that you've created.
Right.
But if you can accept people for who they are and what they bring, diversity of perspective can bring so many benefits to an organization. Because as people share their experiences and as people share who they are, that's you're able to take advantage of huge innovations, new ideas, new ways of doing things, as well as just the tremendous benefit of having a workplace where people actually feel connected to each other.
Right. And I think that, and that's a really good case for the benefits that belonging creates. But I think that what would be is really helpful for people to understand is when belonging in the workplace happens, as you said, it's not one person. It's not the CEO responsible for every one of his 1,000 employees to feel like they belong to him and to every other person in the organization. What belonging in the workplace actually means is belonging in your everyday,
Mhm.
that your team that you deal with every day, the managers that you see all the time, the colleagues that you interact with on a daily basis, those that are part of your everyday, that's the collective that you need to feel connected to and belonging with. It's not about creating this massive initiative where every employee in office on the East Coast has to be best friends with everyone on the office on the West Coast, because that's impossible to do and impossible to sustain. It's just about that people can bring themselves to work. It's almost like we have to change our default thinking that everybody is professional as their default to everyone's kind of a weirdo as their default, and we have to be cool with that and try and make sure that that we are cool with their weirdness, and that people try and keep their weirdness from not affecting their job negatively, but
Yeah.
letting their weirdness be part of what affects their job in a positive way. And that's kind of, I think, what the default needs to be. But part of that really is about the individual level, that I need to, the people that I see every day I should be comfortable around and be able, and I should build that familiarity that they know me well enough that we can talk and that I can, be able to kind of be my weird self and have that just be what is commonplace.
Right. And you raised a couple points. There's one thing that's been bugging me for a little while since I read it. There's one thing that you raised some good points there, and there's one thing that I want to expand on a little bit in more detail, because you talked about the people that I'm surrounded with, the people that I'm in physical proximity to. I should feel connected with, or I should feel like I belong, and that is true. However, there was a recent there's been a number of news articles recently on some comments made by Malcolm Gladwell, who's an author and speaker. And essentially, I've got some notes here that I want to share, because I want to make sure that I'm actually quoting him properly. But his statements were along the lines, he says, if you're sitting in your pajamas in your bedroom, is that the work life you want to live? Don't you want to feel a part of something? If we don't feel like we're a part of something important, then what's the point? And if it's just a paycheck, then it's like, what has your life been reduced to? It's very hard to feel necessary when you're physically disconnected. As we face the battle that all organizations are facing now in getting people back to the office, it's really hard to explain this core psychological truth, which is we want to have a feeling of belonging and feel necessary. And his entire thesis on is that you cannot create belonging unless it's in the workplace, in the office, in a shared physical space. Gladwell's promoting this idea that you have to be in physical proximity to other people in order to feel belonging. And I wholeheartedly disagree. I believe there's several points that he makes that I throughout his talk that I agree with. Remote work has raised some new challenges with how we engage with people, how we make people feel that they belong and are connected to a larger goal. And he's right that purpose is essential to us as human beings, right? Where I deviate in my thinking is actually in many areas, but primarily I want to dispel this idea that the only way to create belonging is physical proximity. Yes, like as you said, when it's easier to when you can walk to somebody's office that's beside you and carry on a conversation. But that's a tool. Remote work is merely a tool, and the way that we create belonging needs to reflect the tool that we are using. And it's a poor carpenter who blames his tools.